The worst punishments in history. Now, chat, we've all experienced some sort of punishment in our lives, right? Especially to the few of us who got whooped as a kid. Ooh, when I was legit, the worst whoopings that I could recall would probably have to be a charger to the legs. Oh, shit. I get bad PTSD just thinking about it, bro. That shit would sting. I'm telling you, bro, my mom would not pull her punches when it came to that charger. This shit right here, this had me feeling like a slave from Roots. If I was on my iPad anytime past 9 p.m., straight belt to ass. Let me know if some of y'all got whooped as a kid, bro. If y'all new here, road to 2K, you know, going hard at it, tap in, bro. Click that sub button. You know what, actually, let's see some of the punishments that we're working with here real quick. So I'm guessing at the top is the least painful, and then when you work your way down, it progressively gets worse and worse. Getting your finger chopped off. Interesting. Rat's cup. Oh my gosh. There's straight up the eggplant emoji. Whoa. Oh boy. I'm dying to find out what that's about. Okay. What the bamboo through booty hole?
What?
Let's back the fuck up. I'll save it for until we get there.
Yakuza finger removal, also known as Yubitsum. It's a ritual done to gain forgiveness after a member committed an offense to someone else in his group, and it consists of amputating portions of one's own little finger to show sincere apology and remorse to the other. I've put this one as
judging just based off the name, I'm guessing this is like something that's Japanese, which this has to be like a prehistoric punishment or something, because Japan's way too nice to be doing shit like this nowadays.
One's own little finger to show sincere apology and remorse to the other. I've put this one as the least painful because it doesn't usually cause lifelong lasting pain, and it isn't deadly, unlike the brutal ones further down the list.
Alright, having something as painful as getting your finger chopped off be the least painful thing on this list, that's kind of concerning. Wait till we get that one with the eggplant emoji. That's gonna actually like shake my soul.
Bastinado. Bastinado consists of beating the victim with a light rod, knotted cord, or lash, exclusively on the feet. Unlike most types of flogging, it is meant more to be painful than to cause actual injury, even though if done
this whole ass punishment. I literally had this like every other day as a kid. This doesn't even deserve to be on this list. But do I have a terrible mom? Maybe I was just a badass kid.
Or for too long, it might cause the victim to not be able to walk anymore. This one is also not deadly. Pitch capping. Pitch capping involves pouring hot pitch or tar into a conical paper cap and forcing it onto the victim's head. The pitch was allowed to cool and the cap was ripped off, removing skin and tissue from the victim's scalp, scarring him for life. It wasn't usually done with the
chat. And I know for a fact that this was done to only men, which is so unfair because we already start balding at some point in our lives. Like, can you just let us enjoy having hair? Yeah, no lie, they were getting creative with these punishments back then.
Intention of killing, but deadly infections after this weren't that uncommon. Elephant's foot.
Damn.
This punishment, also known as gungarao, was mostly used in Asia, specifically India, and it consisted of killing the victim by crushing him with an elephant. There were two variations of this. If the victim was lucky, his head would be placed on a pedestal, and the elephant would crush it, instantly killing him. This wasn't that painful because the victim would die instantly, but the second variation...
That's how you want to look at it? What is this, bro? What happened to guillotines? People in Asia were using elephants back then? And I know damn well this shit had like a crowd of people watching and cheering as this person just got their brains crushed. Man, I'm so glad we developed like electric chairs over the years and we like have not normalized killing people now.
Wasn't as forgiving. Some royal members wanted to sit down and enjoy a long show, so they ordered the elephant riders to train the elephants to walk over non-vital parts first, such as the legs and arms. The person would get crushed over and over before the elephant actually walked over his head and killed him.
What did I say though? People paid to watch that. This was amusing to them. I'd pay to watch that shit happen to bro. I'm such a cornball.
Cullei. In ancient Rome, those who would kill their own father were subjected to Poena cullei. It was a death penalty that consisted of being sewn up in a leather sack with a mix of live animals, including a dog, snake, monkey, and a chicken, and then being thrown into water.
Wait, hold on. Hey, I think I've heard of this punishment before. Dude, who made this shit up? What a creative ass punishment.
Decimation. In ancient Rome, when military units or a large group were guilty of capital offenses, such as cowardice, mutiny, or desertion, they went through the process of decimation. A cohort of roughly 480 soldiers that needed to be punished was divided into groups of 10, and each group drew lots randomly. The soldier who picked the shortest straw had to be killed by his 9 friends, often by stoning, clubbing, or stabbing, while the 9 surviving ones had to stay outside the fortified security of the camp for some time. Since the killed victim was chosen randomly, all soldiers in the group were potentially liable for execution, regardless of how guilty they were. Blowing from a gun.
So you're telling me one guy in every 10 men would get killed by all his homies? And that's a punishment for if you back down in war. Motherfucker, listen, if I was a soldier and I knew I wasn't gonna win that war, I'm talking like 10 on 20,000, I'm going to surrender. Fuck y'all. I'm gonna run and then live rogue. Fuck that.
Blowing from a gun is a method of execution in which the victim is typically tied to the mouth of a cannon, which is then fired, resulting in instant death. A description of what happens was given by an
crazy.
English soldier in the 19th century, and he said that the victim's head goes straight up into the air for about 40 or 50 feet. The arms fly off right and left, high up in the air, and fall at around 100 yards distance.
Narrator, what is going on, bro? Look at the way he's depicting this. The narrator having too much fun with this. Why is there a football field trying to show how far this person's arm got after being blown up? This shit's actually so unethical. Again, I'm so like glad we unnormalized shit like this.
At around 100 yards distance, while the legs drop to the ground beneath the muzzle of the gun. It's this low on the list
R.I.P.,
because
dude.
the victim probably doesn't feel a thing, as his death is instant. Basil
No, yeah, she's got a good point.
II's blind journey. Byzantine Emperor Basil II reportedly captured 15,000 Bulgarians during the Battle of Kleiden, so he decided to use them as a message to their homeland. He divided the prisoners into groups of 100, and then he had 99 out of every 100 blinded, with the 100th man being blinded in only one eye, so that he could still lead the other 99 back home. Bulgarian Tsar
that's fucked up, bro. I'm not sure what the hell I just heard, but that's hella fucked up. All this to show the other king how much power you had. Yo, we got fake gangsters in today's society. Look at this shit they were doing 3,000 years ago. Our YNs pale in comparison to this shit right here.
Died of a heart attack on October 6, 1014, reportedly due to seeing his soldiers blinded. Castor oil.
Damn, that's so hard. That's fucked up. That's hella fucked up, bro. Rest in peace to that king, dude.
Poop barrels. Making someone drink a lot of castor oil.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Castor oil poop barrels. Making someone drink a lot of castor oil caused stomach pain and made them so sick that they could no longer hold their poop together. They would then put the person in a big human-sized barrel and remove them when the person confessed. This could even go as far as leaving the person to drown in their own body fluids inside the barrel if he didn't cooperate.
There's no way. Who's gonna shit that much? And why is this so high on the list? Between getting my body crushed by an elephant and shitting in a barrel, I definitely choose this, bro.
Immurement. Immurement was used both as an execution method and as a lifelong imprisonment method. It consisted of putting someone in an enclosed space and really tight space, such as behind a wall, for the rest of his life. If it was used as an execution method, the person would be left to starve to death, while if it was used as imprisonment, they would regularly give the victim food. Rack.
That's so terrifying. You got me so messed up. Being trapped in there until you die? Hell, man, I think I'd try to find a brick and something and off myself with it. Just smash that shit on my head.
Rack. The person would be forced to lay on a rectangle-shaped wooden rack that stretched the victim's body by pulling the arms and legs in opposite directions. It caused incredible pain and could lead to dislocated limbs and torn ligaments.
Holy
it was mainly
I think I've heard about this one too. Again, there was definitely a crowd of people just circled around this, clapping and shit. Oh my, you did. It's like how us as kids, we would like detach the body parts on a doll. But except the generation of kids back then were watching this shit happen in real life to a real human body. Bro, this is worse than the gore than that kid in middle school would show me. What was it? It was like Mexican cartels or something.
Method to get information, but it could also be used to tear the victim's limbs out and leave him bleeding to death.
Damn. Another thing. I'm so glad that this shit is a 2D stick figure drawing, because imagine if the narrator got like real primary source photos for this. I'm not sure if my stomach would be able to handle that. Ew.
Bleeding to death. Tarring and feathering. Tarring and feathering is a form of public torture where a victim is stripped naked or stripped to the waist, while wood tar, sometimes hot, is either poured or painted onto the person. After that, the victim would have feathers thrown onto him, or he was rolled around on a pile of feathers so that they stuck to the tar.
Humiliation. Legends have it they still do this in the UK. I know this was definitely a British thing. They would do this back in like the 1700s, back during George Washington's time and all that shit. Dude, yeah, the British didn't play, dog.
This would not only cause extreme burns to the victim's skin, permanently scarring him, but also psychologically humiliate him in public, as he was meant to look like a giant chicken walking around the street. Choke pear.
Crazy.
It was a metal tool that was put into someone's mouth or booty hole and then made bigger on purpose. The tool would stretch the tissue.
Can we please be a little bit more shameful? And another thing, if this person is dying, could you just make it like swift? I assure you there's no need to be doing all this to this poor guy, bruh. Also, as another grown man handing him the punishment, bro. That's mad freaky. Hella gay, bruh. Get your fruity ass around. Give him the guillotine for fuck's sake. There's no need for all this.
Mouth or booty hole and then made bigger on purpose. The tool would stretch the tissue to the point of no return. Aztec's live heart removal.
Okay, that's what most of our modern day stars' asses look like, I'm guessing. Is that like a how far we've grown or a how far we've fallen type of thing? I'd say it's definitely like how far we've fallen. Some of these ladies are taking pride in having their butts be stretched out. What am I talking about right now, bro? Let's just carry on.
When the Aztecs sacrificed people to
Aztec live heart
the
removal,
sun god, the victim would be placed on a sacrificial stone, and the priest would then cut through the abdomen with an obsidian or flint blade. The heart would be torn out, still beating, and held towards the sky in honor of the sun god. Heretic's
you Aztecs are tripping, dude. Why would the god want something like that? You have to be so desensitized as a person to be able to do this. That's fucking gross.
Heretic's fork. It's a collar with 2 sets of metal forks at each end. One set was
collar. This is for the emos right here. This is a punishment for all those furries and shit. I think I've seen this in a Jigsaw movie. This punishment right here. Some Saw movie. Let me know if I'm tweaking or not.
Under the chin and the other at the sternum, and the device was secured around the neck.
Yeah, then you can't look down.
This forced the victim to keep their head raised, leading to severe discomfort and sleep deprivation. The person would be asked questions or just be left there, while the fork slowly pierced through their neck and jaw, and this lasted until the victim could no longer hold their head raised, causing the fork to pierce through. Rat's cup.
Damn, bro.
A method attributed to the Roman Emperor Nero involved tying a cup filled with hungry rats to the victim's stomach and then applying heat to the bottom, forcing the rats to burrow through the victim's body to escape. In some parts of South America,
I could see now. We're definitely making our way down this list fast too. You can tell by how much I'm clenching my teeth.
They used a variation of this method called the rectoscope, which consisted of inserting living rats into a victim's rectum through a tube, forcing them to make their way through the victim's body to get out.
Yo, why were we so obsessed with booty holes? What y'all got going on? A rat inside of my asshole. These motherfuckers are gross too. If there's any chance you survive after a rat crawls into your asshole, you're bound to catch an infection of some sort. Rats carry disease, bro.
Wheel. An execution method where the victim's limbs were tied to a large wheel and then struck with a hammer or iron bar, breaking their bones in multiple places.
This is just straight up brutal. Oh my god, man. I feel bad for y'all back then. Like, see, this guy, I don't care if he killed an entire village. Okay, maybe that's pushing it a little bit. I don't care if he killed someone's mama, bro. This is doing too much.
The wheel was placed on display later on, often leaving the victim to starve, boiling alive. The victim would be lowered into a large container with a boiling liquid, such as oil, gradually and slowly. The first exposed parts would be the extremities, such as fingers and toes, which have lots of nerve endings and cause incredible pain. Then the skin, muscles, and fat softened and liquefied due to the heat, while internal organs and the flesh got boiled from the outside, making this a slow and agonizing process. In another variation, which is thought to be even more painful and long, the victim would be lowered into a normal temperature liquid, which would be gradually heated until it started boiling.
Oh, that's crazy. They sauteed their body, bro. You know what? This is the motherfucker that was talking to my wife. Lower the temperature a little bit. Let him feel this. Don't let his soul leave his body too quick. I wonder what they do with their cooked bodies after the punishment was over. There was definitely cannibals back then. Who knows?
Keelhauling was a severe maritime punishment where a sailor was tied to a rope and dragged underwater from one side of the ship to the other, passing under the ship's keel. If the person did not drown or get vital damage from the rusty and sharp wooden body of the ship itself, they would just do it again until the person was no longer alive. It was feared for its brutality. Sawing. When used as an execution method, the victim would be hanged upside down to make the blood flow to the head, increasing the time the person was conscious.
Your face is gonna start turning purple. I did this so much as a kid, like hanging upside down, and I wonder why I get a headache. Yeah, this is gonna do a number on you. Far more than just a headache.
The executioner would then divide the victim vertically into 2 halves, starting from the groin and moving upwards.
Brother, I thought they were just gonna leave him upside down like that. I'm gonna make an assumption that all of these punishments are happening to men only. It would definitely be so much more ideal to be a lady in the medieval times. No joke, I think I'd turn gay if that's what it took for there to not be a chance of me dying like this.
Hanged, drawn, and quartered. This method was used to execute
men. Drawn and quartered. Long ass fucking punishment then. And it's also pretty self-explanatory too.
Convicted of high treason in medieval and early modern Britain and Ireland, and it consisted of multiple steps. The convicted traitor was tied to a wooden board and dragged behind a horse to the execution site. There, he was almost hanged to death, then mutilated and had his organs removed, before being beheaded and his body divided into 4 parts, just in case he was still alive.
And you know damn well they put this on public display. Yup, look at this. I predicted it. In front of the castle is crazy. These powerful kings, they did not give a shit about like kids who would walk down the street. Gotta teach them young, dude. Oh, fuck a kid. Imagine this dude's mom walks down the street and sees his head. I'm getting that shit back in blood for my son. Fuck that, dude.
These remains were often displayed in well-known places across the country, like London Bridge, to warn others about the consequences of being a traitor.
That's crazy.
Glassration.
Oh, the ding-a-ling. We've made it. Deep breath. I'm clenching my nuts as I watch this. All right, this is gonna hurt. Let's go.
It wasn't always dead.
Fucking ad. Oh my god.
Deadly, but in my opinion, it deserves this spot because of how brutally painful it sounds. It's the method of inserting a glass rod into a man's erect willy and then smashing it with a hammer, causing the glass rod to fragment into multiple small pieces that shattered all over the insides. bamboo through booty.
Oh my, yo, I'm about to start moaning in this bitch, man. Glass shards in the tip of your dick. That is one disturbing ass sentence all on its own right there. Imagine having to pee afterwards, gang. Oh my god. At that point, I chopped my own dick off. What I said, man, we're turning transgender. Which diabolical king was pulling this off? This is so uncalled for, bro. Glassation. That's going to go down in history as the worst punishment ever. I don't care. That's it.
Into multiple small pieces that shattered all over the insides. Bamboo through booty hole.
Oh my god.
A bamboo would be put inside a person's booty hole, and it would be left there. The bamboo would grow really quickly inside the man, causing incredible pain. It was sometimes left until it exited from the other side. Spanish dog.
I refuse to believe that that was an actual punishment. This was like a one-time thing. It was definitely just like some farmer who got really mad at a kid for stealing his crops, and then he put a bamboo up his ass. This is crazy that I'm talking about this out loud right now, bro. Literally, my brother and sister could be hearing me right now. Fucking hell. They gonna think I'm coming out the closet or some shit with some of the stuff that I'm saying.
This was a sharp-angled wooden device on which the victim was forced to sit, straddling it like a donkey, with weights attached to their feet. This would increase pressure and pain on the body, often causing severe injury to the leg.
Oh, you poor stick figure. Look, his asshole's bleeding.
And spine, until the victim was ripped apart by their body weight. Brazen bull. A metal...
God damn. These punishments are getting repetitive at this point. It was like the same thing as the guy being split in half down his balls and ass. I'm thinking we just skip to the last punishment, bro. Actually, there was another one that I wanted to see. Hold up. It was called Blood Eagle.
Blood Eagle. This one was a brutal ritual where the victim's ribs were cut from the spine and spread out to resemble wings, while the lungs were pulled through the openings, causing a slow, agonizing death. It's short, but it's one of the most...
Wait, hold on. I'm having a hard time imagining this. What the f is going on? Draw some sophisticated drawings, narrator. Come on.
Ones, in my opinion. Ling Chi.
Okay, we're just gonna straight up get ignored. Yep. I love talking to myself. Fuck me. We're skipping to the last one. Scaphism.
Scaphism. This one is considered by many to be the worst execution method. In this punishment, the condemned person was placed inside a boat or between two boats, lying on their back with their arms and legs protruding through holes. They were force-fed large amounts of milk and honey, which induced severe diarrhea, and their entire body was smeared with the same mixture.
Oh, look at the doo-doo. Ew. Too descriptive, narrator. Stop it, bro. Look, the shit even has green specks in it.
And their entire body was smeared with the same mixture. This made them attractive to rodents, bugs, wasps, bees, flies, and whatever other animals lived near the lake.
So gross.
They would eat and bite at the victim's flesh. And when the next morning arrived, the boat would be brought back to the coast, and they would force feed him another gigantic meal of milk and honey. Also,
oh my god, imagine the smell secreted off this man right here. This man is bold, withstanding that smell right there. The absolute fucking wrench. You've already done a number on him, bro. Let him go home. Fucking hell, what was wrong with people back then?
Placing it on him once more. This was done on a daily basis to prolong the punishment for as long as possible. It was reported that the rats would usually try to go in...
This might just be the worst punishment. Aside from the penis one, of course. That one's unbeatable.
The person's booty hole. And that the method was so long that it seemed to have no...
Can we talk about booty holes? Can we leave our private parts out of this for just one punishment, please? I get that this narrator is trying to be descriptive, but at this point, I'm starting to think that he's a little like this, you know? A little zesty.
The rats would usually try to go into the person's booty hole, and that the method was so long that it seemed to have no end, with a person surviving 17 days. This person reportedly had his...
And if the rat tried to crawl up the person's asshole, you'd be so weak at that point that, like, you probably wouldn't even have the strength to try and get the rat to stop doing it.
Entire face completely covered with wasp, and his flesh was rotting away, filled with swarms of parasites and worms, all while being covered in his own filth. If you want to discuss this video or suggest...
Fucking gross, bro. Let me know what y'all thought the worst punishment was, man. Well, I really had the least of it. I would gladly choose this charger over every single punishment that I've seen in this video. Road to 2K, bro. Y'all know the drill. Going hard at it. Tap in. Click that subscribe button. And with that being said, bro, y'all have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video, bro. Peace out.